Good morning. Whether you are participating online or here in person, we say welcome home to Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Mark Anderson, and I am so glad you're here. For our guests, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to the Live Oak Weekly newsletter. It's the go-to place to know everything that is happening here, and there's a link on our homepage. Our minister, Reverend Joanna, is on sabbatical through August. We are very pleased to have members Katherine Enyart and Mike Schultz as our guest speakers this morning. And now, here and at home, let us light our chalices. This morning's chalice lighting by Jennifer McLaughlin is titled, Like the First Hint of Green. As the first hint of green begins to peek through barren ground, as that little sprig grows into a healthy stem, as that stem grows into a stalk and forms a bud, as that bud slowly opens with each new day to form a yellow daffodil, let us be like that first hint of green, renewed by the warmth of the sun's rays and ready to emerge with a new energy, ready to face the day. We light this chalice to bring a glimmer of that warmth into our space.
In ancient Rome, the festival of flowers, or Floralia, was celebrated around the 1st of May. These festivities were dedicated to Flora, goddess of flowers and the spring. Today the earth is fully awake and everything is blossoming. This is the time when sweet desire weds wild delight in the greening of the year. This day, this season has been celebrated by many cultures throughout the world for centuries. In celebration of this special time, we will call the sacred elements. In the East, we celebrate the power of seed. See the seed living quietly in the dark womb of the earth. Feel the seed receiving water, being held by the warming soil. See the seed bursting open. Blessed be the flower. Blessed be the power of the seed. Welcome, East and seed. In the South, we celebrate the power of stalk. See the stalk bursting forth from the seed. Feel the stalk pushing its way through the soil, struggling and breaking ground to feel the clear rays of light. Feel the roots going deeper into the earth as the stalk stretches skyward. The stalk develops strength. Blessed be the power of stalk. Welcome, South and stalk. In the West, we celebrate the power of flower. See the flowers bud at the end of the stalk. Feel the flower begin to open, unfolding, blooming. Flower drips nectar, flashes bright colors, fills the air with scent. Flower is beautiful. Blessed be the power of flower. Welcome, West and flower. In the North, we celebrate the power of fruit. See the fruit in its great variety, rich and abundant gifts of the earth. Fruit is the reward of labor and a source of nourishment. Fruit contains the seed of future possibility. Fruit is fulfillment. Blessed be the power of fruit. Welcome, North and fruit. In the center, we celebrate the cycle of life. Seed to stalk, to flower, to fruit, to seed again. Feel the cycle of life as it moves you and moves through you. Blessed be the cycle of life. Welcome, center and cycle of life. Our opening hymn is number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth. Please rise, either in body or in spirit, and join us in singing.
For the beauty of the earth, for the
Every week when we gather, we share pieces of our lives with each other. We share our sorrows so that we may offer comfort to one another, and we share our joys so that we may celebrate together. For those of you watching online, please share in the chat box any joys or sorrows you may be carrying today. Doug Martin shares that their oldest daughter almost certainly has a job in the Netherlands, and they are looking for a house there. Gabe shares Happy Mom's Day to Sarah Butke. You are a wonderful mom and partner. Mar shares, I passed my nursing school exam with a 96. In this religious community, we hold with reverence the knowledge that each week a multitude of different emotions and experiences are brought together into this space. One of us may be celebrating, one weeping, one filled with determination, one with despair. This mosaic of experiences is holy, and we honor all with our witness.
Today's big idea is The Goddess Blesses All Forms of Love, adapted from a story by Starhawk, Ann Hill, and Diane Baker. Circle round, and I'll tell you a story about how the Maypole came to be. Once upon a time, a long time ago, or maybe in a time not yet to come, there was a springtime when no flowers bloomed. No daffodils or irises, no rosebuds, no lilacs, no poppies, no bluebonnets. And the worst thing of it all was that nobody seemed to notice, except for one girl named Vivian. Where are the flowers, Vivian asked everyone she met, and everyone looked at her strangely. Doesn't anyone miss the flowers? Asked Vivian. When the children made fun of her, she ran out of the schoolyard into the woods. She began to cry. Nobody cares about the flowers. That's exactly how I feel, said a small voice by her ear. Vivian lifted her head and saw a tiny, scruffy little dandelion. Its petals were tattered, the stem was bent, and it looked like it might collapse at any moment. But it was the only flower she had seen all spring, and she was thrilled. Oh, dandelion, she cried, I'm so happy to see you. You're so beautiful. Why aren't there any flowers this spring? Why doesn't anybody miss them? Vivian asked. Exactly, the dandelion said. Nobody misses the flowers, so why should we bloom? Some kind of love has gone out of the world, and so the earth spirits are sick, and the flowers have disappeared. But with the right kind of love, you can call them back again. Vivian sat up and dried her tears, for now she knew that if she could only find the right kind of love, she could bring the flowers back. Vivian dried her eyes and went home. Oh, Vivian, I was so worried about you, cried her mother. I was looking for you everywhere, said her father. Do you love me? Vivian asked. Of course, said her parents. Then help me bring the flowers back. Help me find the right kind of love. Her parents followed Vivian to school. Vivian, where did you go? Cried all the children. I went to find the flowers, and now I know that if we can find the right kind of love, we can bring them back. They all went to the center of town and formed a circle. They held hands and closed their eyes, focusing on love, but nothing happened. The circle isn't big enough, Vivian said. We need more kinds of love. I'll go get my Uncle Donald and Uncle Rick, said one of the girls. They love each other. I'll go get my boyfriend, said the older sister of Vivian's friend. I'll get my mother's, said one of the boys. They love each other and they love me too. I love my job, said a woman, the woman who carried the mail, stepping into the circle. I love bringing letters to people. I love my neighborhood, said the grocer, taking her hand. I love the trees, said an old woman who lived in the woods. I love to read, said a librarian. I love my garden, said a tall man carrying a spade. I love my dog, said a very little boy. The circle grew larger and larger. It's still not big enough, Vivian cried. Then she heard a voice say, no circle of love can ever be big enough to hold all forms of love. Holding her hand was a beautiful woman, her hair crowned with all the flowers of spring, her eyes dancing with light. Her face was old and young at the same time, and it seemed to change before Vivian's eyes. One moment she was dark as a velvet pansy. In the next she was pale as a white lily, young and fresh and ancient and wrinkled all at once. Who are you? Vivian asked. I am the goddess Flora, the woman said, the May Queen. You have called me with your circle of love. Then did we find the right kind of love after all? Vivian cried joyfully. The May Queen smiled. There is no one right kind of love, she said. The goddess blesses all forms of love. How do we bring the flowers back? Vivian asked. Here's what you must do, the May Queen said, pointing to the center of the circle where a tall pole stood. My tree of life has become a dead stick, but you can bring it to life again. See the silver ring at the top? That is my circle of rebirth. She tossed her head, and from her shining hair, ribbons of 100 colors fell to the ground. And here are the ribbons of love. Tie one to each ring. Each ribbon stands for tie each one to the ring, sorry. Each ribbon stands for a different kind of love. And without all of them, my circle is not whole. Here is the love parents have for their children, the love you have for your best friend, the passionate love two women can have for each other, the love you have for your grandparents, for your pet, and passion a woman and man may have between them. Here is joyful, devoted love between men. Here is the love you have for a great teacher, your brothers and sisters, your aunts and uncles, for music and for art, the love people have for each other when they work hard together, the love that generates new ideas. Take hold of my ribbons, dance around my tree, wrap the tree of life in love, and the flowers will bloom again. And so the people danced around the maypole, and as they danced, blossoms popped out on the trees, daffodils and irises pushed up from the ground, and buds formed on the roses. All the flowers opened their bright petals and perfumed the air. The May Queen gathered all the children close to her. I must leave you now, she said, but the flowers will remain to remind you to honor all kinds of love. Every year when you dance the maypole, I will be with you, whether you see me or not.
Every week, we engage in the spiritual practice of generosity, combining our resources to support the ministries of this church. Part of our mission is to empower dreams, and this Sunday, we will be sharing the offering with the Transgender Education Network of Texas to empower their dreams to further gender diverse equality in Texas. This nonprofit's efforts are all the more critical this year in light of dire anti-trans actions emanating from our governor's office. We now invite you to go live to liveoakuu.org and click on Donate.
Norbert Čapek planted the Unitarian Church in Prague, Czechoslovakia, which grew to be, with 3,200 members, the largest Unitarian church in the world. When the Nazis came to power, he was arrested. He was moved from prison to prison, eventually put to death in Dachau. We still celebrate his life, the hymns he wrote, and today, the flower communion, which he and his wife Maya originated. Čapek had written to the president of the American Unitarian Association, Sam Elliott. We are trying to find new expressions of our religious life very slowly and carefully. We have made a new experiment in symbolizing our liberty and brotherhood in a service which is so powerful and impressive that I have never experienced anything like it. The most dry and rationalistic members were moved, and many an eye brightened through tear. On that very Sunday, everybody was supposed to bring a flower. The sight of so many beautiful flowers was wonderful, and more of them were coming, solemnly yet joyfully, with full understanding of the meaning. In my sermon, I put emphasis upon the individual character of each member flower, on our liberty as the foundation of our fellowship. Then I emphasized our common cause, our belonging together as one spiritual community. And when they go home, that each is to take one flower just as it comes, without making any distinction where it came from and who it represents, to confess that we accept each other as siblings without regard to class, race, or distinction, acknowledging that everyone as our friend who is human and wants to be good. After the consecration of the flowers, I invite you to come forward and accept one as Čapek intended, just as it comes, knowing that you are signifying our commitment to accept each other as we are, beautiful in our diversity. Why not? Testing? Here we go. Infinite Spirit of life, we ask your blessing on these flowers, these messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us, amid our diversity of knowledge and gifts, to be one in desire and affection and devotion. May they also remind us of the value of companionship, of doing and sharing alike. May we cherish friendship as one of life's most precious gifts. May we not let awareness of others' talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all are needed to do the work in this world. Let our flowers be consecrated by our intentions. Amen. Religious community is not like a store. You don't get to select the ways that you will be transformed here. Rather, you simply are transformed by being in this diverse, inclusive community. So this is how we will work this year. You will come forward, or you will receive a flower from the person in front of you. You will choose a flower for the person behind you. This is what we do here. We receive the gifts that others bring, and we bring gifts to offer others. Please come forward. What I would like you to do is form two queues from this way, and then we'll meet in the center and do the flower exchange, and then you can exit down the center aisle.
We'll go take our flowers first.
Right.
So,
One moment.
thank you, Carl.
Who's gonna pick one for Carl?
I am.
Oh, I am.
There. And now you pick one and give it to Bill.
Oh, it's honeysuckle.
So pick one and give it to me, the person behind you. There you go. Choose one for the person behind you. Oh, look at that. Somebody brought us some honeysuckle. How wonderful. Was it? Oh, thank you. So are you gonna pick one for your mom? There you go. We're going to pause for a moment for meditation on the flower communion. What a gathering. The purple tongues of irises licking out at spikes of lupine, the orange crepe skirts of poppies lifting over buttercup and daisy. Who can be grim in the face of such abundance? There is nothing to compare. No need for beauty to compete. The voluptuous rhododendron and the plain grass are equally filled with themselves, equally declare the miracles of color and form. This is what community looks like. This vibrant jostle, stem by stem, declaring the marvelous joining. This is the face of communion, the incarnation once more gracefully resurrected from winter. Hold these things together in your sight. Purple, crimson, magenta, blue. You will be feasting on this long after the flowers are gone. And now, please rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 305, De Coloris.
There are no RE classes today. Instead, we will gather at the Maypole. Rainbow, yes. I'm looking outside. It doesn't look like it's raining, so I think the Maypole is a little damp, but it will work. If you have questions about the RE program, see Cindy LaGreca, our acting DLFD. Oops, that's 7, 8. No, here it is 8.
I think there's a, let's see. No,
No,
just,
right here.
okay, I thought, okay. Well, I thought there was some words to that, no?
Mike
Oh, it
speaks.
just says
Kath-
releasing this, okay.
Okay.
Just say we're going to be releasing the sacred elements.
All right, we'll be releasing the directions now.
The sacred elements.
The sacred elements, sorry. We dance the Maypole, that love may bloom. Love for the earth, love for the air, love for the fire, love for the water. Flowering springtime, weaving the ribbons, dancing the Maypole, that love may bloom. Blessed season, blessed be. Let's see, 7, 8.
How does the chalice extinguishing now?
All right. Where are we? Nice. Oh, okay.
We extinguish this flame, but we recommit anew to carrying into our week the flame of justice and love. May we share with others the courage and strength we find here.
Ah, yes. Here we go.
It's okay.
We're okay. We've done pretty well, actually. May your life be rich with many forms of love, passion, affection, devotion, compassion, humor, and playfulness, wild adventures, and a safe hearth to come home to.
May you find lovers, partners, friends, and companions, those who will nurture you and those whom you will nurture. Know that you are unique and precious, that no one else can take your place. Blessed be. Yes, we can go down.
Yes.